Hello, this is Mythic Cithrin with some interesting goblins to mess around with today. Today we're going to be looking at a Rakdos Goblin deck that I'll be testing out on April 23rd for the streamer event for War of the Spark. It's honestly the deck I'm most excited to play. It looks like a lot of fun and there's a lot of combo to it, which is pretty cool. I love playing aggressive decks with combos. But we've had this Goblin shell for quite a while now. We've had the CJ Commander, we've had the Goblin Instigator, we've had the War Chief, we have had the Goblin Trash Master. We've had a large portion of this shell that for quite a while now, and really got to ask yourself, well, what's changed? What has been released that makes goblins all of a sudden playable? And I would say the Goblin deck was kind of borderline on the threshold of being a deck. But I think these cards will push it over. Starting off with Crinkle. Crinkle, the Tin Street Kingpin. Now, by himself, I would say he's probably better than the other renditions that we've had of him in the format. That being Legion Warboss. Legion Warboss, it's an okay creature. It gets you value immediately when you play it. The issue, though, is against any creature, and there's a lot of creatures with 2 power in the format, it just gets chump blocked. Whereas with Crinkle, you get 1 attack in, all of a sudden, one attack against a 2-power creature still gets through. And then they need, all of a sudden, a 4-power creature on the following turn, and then a 5-power creature, and then you're getting all these goblins, and the goblins are a really important part to this. Now, he is legendary, so you can't drop multiple of him like you can Legion Warboss, but he's going to have a big target on his head whenever you play him, because he's going to have to die real fast. Otherwise, he will run away with the game every single time. Especially if you have something like Goblin War Chief already in play. So you can go Goblin War Chief on 3, on 4, you could possibly play a second War Chief and a Crinkle, because Crinkle is only 1 red mana. And that just lets you go super, super wide, and then you use something like Skirk Prospector to sack them all off, add a bunch of mana, and you have Judith, doesn't really do much in that situation, but with Mayhem Devil, the next new card that I have in the set, you get to ping your, not just your opponent, but any target, just like Judith, with those triggers. So you can attack with Crinkle, make 3-4 tokens, and then sack them all off. Say you have another mana floating, play CJ Commander, deal 4 damage to anything, then sack off a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of combo potential with this. And then the last card that really excited me to try out in this type of deck, because you have such potential to get a lot of mana. This is where Finale of Eternity comes in. Finale of Eternity is a 2-mana X spell where you can kill up to 3 target creatures with toughness X or less, and then if X is 10, you return all creatures from your grave to the battlefield. Well, guess what? We have this thing called Goblin Prospector, Skirk Prospector, where you can sack off all your goblins, make a bunch of mana, Finale of Eternity. Not to mention you get to ping a bunch of stuff because you sacked off all your goblins with either Mayhem Devil or Judith. Kill 3 things and bring them all back. And then because you have stuff like Goblin War Chief, they all have haste, so you can swing for a lot with Goblin War Chief. So those 3 cards I think are going to push this deck to be an actual thing. But anyways, let's go take a quick look at the list that I got here. Starting with the low end of the curve. We'll start with the lands. So lands, we were playing total 22 lands, 4 Blood Crypts, 4 Dragon Skull Summits. We are playing 6, 8, 9, 10 cards total. 9 cards total that have any black in them, of which 3 of them we're playing with double black. That's Finale of Eternity. I think that should be enough. Playing 8 black sources. If we need to put more, then we can probably try and fit in I don't know, maybe a Rakdos Gate or 2. But I think for now, for our initial testing, we're just going to start with this. And we're playing 14 mountains for a total of 22 lands, because our curve is very, very low. And not to mention we have stuff like Skirk Prospector to help us out. Oh, and Goblin War Chief to reduce the cost of our top end. So those are the lands. Moving on to our 1-drops, we're playing Fanatical Firebrand, and we're playing Skirk Prospector. Fanatical Firebrand is just a really good utility goblin. It's aggressively statted, has haste, and you can sack it off to shoot down a creature with 1 toughness. And if you have stuff like Mayhem Devil or Judith out that gets incrementally more for that. So you get, if you have both out, that's just 3 damage divided as you choose, which is awesome. And then Skirk Prospector is just kind of the combo enabler for this deck. It lets you ramp to your cards that you need if you want to do like a turn 2 Crinkle or sack off some other goblins for like an early siege gang. But the big combo obviously being the Finale of Eternity and trying to just sack everything off, ping a bunch of stuff, get everything back, and then sack a bunch more stuff off. Onto our 2 drops, we have Goblin Instigator, Runaway Steamkin. Both of them are just, really solid 2 drops. I really was struggling to find good 2-drop goblins that I wanted to play. There is the Crater Maker Goblin, but I am not convinced it's good enough. I could be wrong on that. It could be better than Steamkin, especially with the Goblin tag, but I wanted something that was a little more effective while also being aggressively statted. And the Goblin Instigator, it does synergize very well with going wide and also being able to get pumped up by Judith and or Goblin Trashmaster. On to the 3s, and there's quite a few of them. 4 Crinkle, 4 War Chief, 3 Judith, and 3 Mayhem Devil. And that's mostly because we don't really want multiple Judith. Since it's legendary, you can't really, there's diminishing returns into it. And not 4 Mayhem Devil, primarily because we don't actually get anything with the creatures not sacrificed. There's risk and reward versus them. Judith is definitely the better one in situations, since outside of Goblin tokens, it's effectively the same thing. But having this type of effect is definitely something we want more of, and diversifying it. If we're not going to be playing 4 Judiths, we want to play more Mayhem Devils. And then we're playing 3 Goblin Trashmaster in the 4 slot. He's just a lord. He's good. Artifacts are pretty hard to get rid of in this format, and he also offers the utility of getting rid of artifacts. Yeah, he's a lord. You go wide, you pump everything up. He's good. And then CJ Commander at our top end for 5 mana. He's just, he's the boss. He is our Legion's war boss. He, goes wide. He has the utility of pinging stuff down. You could, hey, him and Mayhem Devil, they go very well together, because you can sack off your Goblin tokens, and all of a sudden you're dealing 3, of which it can be split up if you want. He's really good. And then, if you were to get back a bunch of Mayhem Devils with a big Finale of Eternity, then you can sack some stuff off with Skirk Prospector, get some mana, do some more shooting. It's honestly, he's just a really solid creature in and of himself. So yeah, that's the Goblin deck I'm going to be messing around with on April 23rd, around 4 p.m. Eastern, if you want to check it out. We're going to push this deck, probably play this one first, because I'm really excited to play this one, and see how far we can take Goblins in Standard. Anyways, until next time, take care.